Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Riza Bastani, who is here on behalf of the United Architectural Control and Standards Committee. Well, welcome, Riza. Thank you for joining us via Zoom.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I know you were just in a meeting not too long ago this week. Can you give us some updates on what happened?
This meeting on architectural control has been delayed because of the virus issue. So we were not in a meeting recently.
Okay. But you have some things you wanted to tell us about?
Yeah, there are certain things. First, I'd like to define what this committee does.
Okay.
It's indicated by its name. It's got two major functions: architectural control and standards. Architectural control really is alteration control. Maybe it should have been called alteration control. And standards committee. Alteration control is to control the process of alteration. And standards committee is to create standards. So that defines that part of it. Why do we want to standardize? That's the second part of the name. Standardization was originally thought of because they wanted to have everything standard, like painting of the walls, like color of the doors, shape of the doors, so that they keep the inventory at lowest possible. They don't have to buy different things for different units. That was the idea. And that's why it's put over there. So basically, that clarifies the name. If you have any other questions, please go ahead.
Oh, well, that's a good thing that they have a standardization. I think all communities have some standardization if there's an HOA. So it certainly makes a lot of sense to be able to do that. Like you said, you can save money because you don't have to buy different kinds of things. So that's good. Thank you for the definition.
All right. Now, the second thing we deal in this committee is as-built drawings. A lot of people, they don't know what it means, as-built drawing. When you do a project, the design ends up in construction drawing. When you go through construction, certain things cannot be done. So they change during the construction. They are red marked on the construction drawing, and then they would be transferred into the main drawing, and those drawings are called as built. It means as it was built. So they called it as built. What is as built for? If you want to do an alteration on the unit, you have to have a base drawing to start with, to put your alterations on it. That's where as-built comes in. If you have as-built, you start taking as-built as your base drawing, and then you mark on it, and that becomes the construction drawing again. Next year, if you want to do something else, you take the last year's as-built, and you go on the same way.
I see.
That's the function of as-built drawing. Now, I have to mention something. Unfortunately, in United 40, 50 years ago, the as-builts were not done properly and then put in microfilms, which are fading. We need to revive them somehow. They are letters, but they cost money. And first we have to have the budget, but I think it's worthwhile to attempt to have them as built. That was the next point I wanted to explain.
Okay.
Now the process of alteration in the village is that first the HOA gets the application for alteration, they review it, mostly from aesthetic point of view, colors, etc. And they approve it. Once they approve it, it goes to city, and city start looking at it from technical issues, structural safety, code compliance, and things like that. And when they're satisfied with that, then they give a, an okay so we can start construction. Now, the other issues that has come about are the units in the village are 50 years old, and to make it habitual, it has to be altered. So that's how alteration comes into the picture. But the alteration committees in the board, as well as those in VMS, has to try to minimize the cost of alteration. If they put redundant requirement, etc., increases the cost, and it can be affordable to most of the residents in the village.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's a difficult time, and you know, everybody's lives have come to a halt. So it certainly is, you know, a concern for sure, and difficult. So hopefully, when things get back to somewhat of a normal, they'll be able to pick up where they left off and help you with that. So great. Well, thank you very much for your report. I appreciate it, and you stay healthy out there.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And we'll be right back after this.